Are you ready to be unleashed and unstoppable?
You're successful and stuck. Where are you burned out and standing in your own way? Are you ready to make your finances and your whole life work?
Are you ready to experience a breakthrough and step into your next level of leadership?
Living a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms, unapologetically.
You are where you are because of the way that you think. You are the creator of your reality. You are the creator of your thoughts.
This podcast is about discovering how to play big, how to be unleashed and unstoppable.
Through wiring in your success at the source as you step into your full potential as a wildly ambitious leader.
We are Lianne Carter, founder and CEO of Ambition Unleashed, and Carol Register, founder and CEO of Success Uniquely Yours.
Let's get unleashed and unstoppable.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? We are here to bring you the best of the best information with being unleashed and unstoppable in your life. Lianne and I are ready to help you to really walk into that great leadership and transform. Today, we're going to be talking all about lone wolfing, the actual trap of that, how to be a good leader and have the connections that you really want to have. What is lone wolfing, by the way? Alex, what's lone wolfing? Can you share with us what that is?
Yeah, I love that question, Carol. I was in this big room of a lot of leaders, and they really lean into this term lone wolfing. And I had never heard this before, because a lot of times when you are in roles of leadership, what I was always told is leadership is lonely at the top, right? So I was embedded with this thought and belief that leadership is lonely, need to do it all, needing to be like the last stop, need to make all the decisions, right? Having that pressure on you. So when we look at what lone wolfing is, I mean, that's kind of what it is. It's really operating from lone, being solo, doing it all by yourself, and operating from these beliefs like leadership is only at the top. And then from that belief, making decisions and taking actions that are aligned with you doing it all by yourself. But Carol, you and I both know with the work that we do with the leaders that we serve and we coach, that lone wolfing is one of the main reasons a lot of high achievers and leaders burn out. And so we're so excited to dive into what are some of the traps that we see high achievers make with this lone wolfing piece, and supporting you guys from going from lone wolfing to being part of a pack and not having to go at it all alone.
That's so true. I also have heard that about it is lonely at the top. So we get these things incorporated. You guys know we talk about the neuroscience a lot. And when that belief is back there circulating in your subconscious, leader, you're going to end up operating from that without even realizing it. I know that for me, one of the things that I have experienced is, hey, I'm not being responsible if I'm not figuring it out on my own. I'm responsible. I am the leader. And if I'm not figuring it out, I am failing in my leadership. I am lacking responsibility that I need to have in order to be a good and capable leader. I want to share with you that is 100% false. It just doesn't work that way. When you are walking in your leadership and you are being a responsible leader, that responsibility shift looks like knowing when to ask for help. And talk to us about why we would want to even ask for help, Lianne.
Well, Carol, even that idea of asking for help, I'm sure the listeners probably thinking, yeah, but if I ask for help, I'll look weak. I was operating from, and I've heard this time and time again from the leaders that we work with and we serve, right? Thinking that it makes you look weak. But in fact, the reason why we want to encourage you to seek coaching, ask for help, not go at it all alone is because you'll actually be able to find solutions faster. As Carol said earlier, feeling and operating from a place of you needing to do it all alone, right? You're going to then make decisions and take action based on that. But if you're struggling, right, if you're finding yourself even procrastinating, having a hard time finding the answer, you're operating from this not wanting to look in your role of leadership, like not wanting to look a certain way, right? Having your reputation maybe tainted or something like that.
Looking weak.
We want to invite you to be empowered to actually ask for help, because the faster you ask for help, the faster you will shift, the faster you'll get the solution, and the faster then you'll create the result.
Yeah. And it's powerful when you start to recognize that. One of the things that we really want to lean into here is this false idea that you are not going to be seen as confident and capable and trustworthy if you are asking for help, if you're not figuring it out, right? Because we take this idea of being leaders, being responsible, loving and caring and serving people very seriously. And we know that you are just exactly like Alex, Lianne, and I. We want to be good leaders. We want to love, serve, impact, influence, and bring transformation through our leadership. Powerful, strong, beautiful leadership. The idea that ends up getting incorporated is that somehow we're weak, we're not confident when we're not figuring it out all by ourselves. But the reverse of that is what is really important and true. When you trust yourself, when you really know who you are, how valuable, important you are, what your want and your why is, what your identity is with your leadership, that's when you begin to really know that true confidence is being able to ask for help. It's being able to say, hey, I can't figure this out. And knowing that there's somebody else out there that has already done it, and being able to have the confidence and the courage that it takes to know that you need help. And I think that's what's really important, is to start to recognize, acknowledge these false ideas that we've taken in about what a leader is, and start to recognize what the truth is where we really step into our power as leaders. And I think that's so important. Alex, what's another trap that you see of lone wolfing it?
Before I go to another tab, Carol, I would just want to lean into what you said there, because I think it's really important for our listeners when they're thinking about how they are operating, how they are showing up in their confidence. How are they showing up in their confidence? I mean, that's powerful. Yeah. And when we are operating from this belief of leadership is only at the top, I'm going to look weak, people won't respect me, I should be able to figure it all out, I'm 100% responsible. Operating from more of a lower level of leadership, because you're attaching meaning to you asking for help, or you're attaching a meaning to seeking advice, seeking guidance, right? And this is a big thing we lean into in the Diamond Transformation, helping our leaders really level up in their leadership, in their life, in their business, is being able to operate from a place of neutrality, stepping into the confidence. And because of the vision, whatever that the leader is leaning into create, having coaching, having guidance allows the leader to shift faster, being able to create a faster result. And so what we want to acknowledge here is that how you normally operate, like we speak in this often, right? 90 to 95% of our results come from the thoughts and beliefs in our subconscious. So it's how society dictates leadership, what you've heard as you've been growing up, and what we're leaning into with you here today, and leaning into the feelings that you have around maybe being confident, feelings around asking for help, and what it will mean about you. Yeah, we want to empower you to see that it actually has nothing to do with you.
Let's lean in here for a second. Actually, that's one of the key things. What you're saying is that we can literally pause and ask ourselves, because we've spoken into this earlier, what does this mean about me? So if you are having a fear of reaching out and asking for help, you need to acknowledge that. We want you to have an awareness of what you're operating by so that you can turn that around and change that. And that's the process that we walk you through. That's what you need help and guidance with. That you can start to look at, what does it mean about me when I ask for help? Because we've spoken about the be, do, have model. And that model is different from what we grow up with, the have, do, be model. I have to have things in order to do something, in order to be that leader. No, that's not right. The truth of it is, and what's important for you to know, is that your meaning is inherent. And that's part of getting to know exactly who you are, which we take you through in the Diamond Transformation and the Restore part of our program, especially, and then take you through the rewiring process. It's starting to learn that you can be the leader that you are and operate from that place in order to do things, in order to have things, right? And provide the leadership that you're meant to have. So start with that question. Say to yourself, what does this mean about me? And pay attention to what comes up for you in your mind when you ask that question. Really lean in and listen, because we've talked about this too. We're used to pushing it down. We're used to just muscling through. And especially when we're high achievers, and especially when we're in positions of leadership, it's like, nope, got to keep going. But willpower is a myth. You really need to dig in and listen. What does it mean about you? So important to ask.
And then this transitions us to the second trap that we see, right? Because of what it means about you, you often start to lack confidence, or you lack trust in other people. So again, because of you lacking confidence in yourself, you still feel like you need to do it all. And then you lack trust in other people, and therefore you need to do it all. And so you find yourself in this cycle based on how your belief system, the belief system and how you operate, the things that you believe and you feel, they impact the decisions that you make. Your decision to trust somebody, your decision to ask for help, your decision to raise your hand and receive coaching. And then based on those decisions, that's going to impact then the actions that you take, the results you create. So therefore, prolonging a result because you're still trying to go at it alone. And as Carol said, it's this hustle, it's this grit, it's this resiliency, because you should be able to hustle. You should have resiliency. You should have this confidence. And it becomes this complete battle. I know this because this was me. And I know Carol knows all about this. Our clients, we've helped them overcome this crazy battle that goes on in the head. And that's why it is a trap, because you're on this hamster wheel of this internal dialogue and inner critic of how you should be operating and how you should be showing up and how you should be doing things, versus leaning into and connecting, as that Carol said, to the leader that you are, just owning the confidence. And it's easier said than done. Like, we can come here and say to you, own your confidence, and that's the power of the work that we do. We can speak into this because of the power that the work that we do in the Restore, Rewire, Renew inside the Diamond Transformation. We help you be able to embody that confidence, embody that trust, embody that vulnerability. Because that's another piece. I know Carol and I were talking earlier before we jumped on and spoke into this vulnerability piece. It is really difficult for a lot of leaders to be vulnerable. Again, because attaching so much of that vulnerability to what does it mean about you as a leader, versus you owning your confidence, trusting yourself, trusting others, and be able to operate from that place. And then that kind of leads us into our third trap, like the third trap that we often see. And I think it kind of just encompasses a lot of what we talked about today. But what is that third trap, Carol, that we often see with high achievers and the lone wolf?
Well, we definitely miss out on the connections and the collaboration. And we get just in this place of unconsciously operating from fear, right? And the fear of judgment of others. You know, I know that I have stood in that place where, what will people think about me? And again, this goes back to you really knowing and trusting who you are. And then it takes longer to get to your solution, right? It puts you in a place of fear and judgment. You miss out on connections and collaboration with people that are powerful. And it's important for us when we go back to that center of who we are to really understand that we have a unique voice that is powerful and important. And it does matter. That purpose in your heart that you have is there for a reason. And we want you to lean in and trust it. And like Alex Lianne said, we have a process to help you really do that. And it's based on science, neuroscience. And that's the beautiful thing of it. When you trust yourself and you really lean in and listen to yourself, you know that what you're doing matters. And that's when I referred to your want and your why, which we've spoken about. And we put all of these pieces together for you. Knowing that is where you can stand grounded in having connections. Because while we trust ourselves, those connections come from that greater trust, right? Rather than it being that place of weakness that we think incorrectly that, oh no, I'm not a good leader if I'm asking for help. When in reality, when you are a good leader, when you are trusting yourself, you go, oh, I need to get together with so-and-so. We can really do amazing things. Alex, Lianne, and I, we know that us together are producing amazing things because we are collaborating and connecting together as partners to impact your lives. And so that part gets so exciting to both of us. And did I answer that question, Alex, Lianne?
Yeah, but that fear piece, right? Like I just go back to how I was feeling. And I know that you have a story about someone that was close to you as well that really started to operate from these fears, right? Fears of judgment, fear of criticism, fear of reputation being damaged, fear of really operating like what other people will think about you.
Yeah.
Really looking at, the fear of looking weak. We talked about that earlier. I know that was a massive one for me. And a lot of clients that we have, they share the same thing. They don't want to look weak. They don't want people to see them in a different light.
Yeah.
But when you stand in your power and you stand in your confidence and you stand in your leadership, whatever that looks like to you, so not defined by, what others are saying about leadership, your own leadership, right? And we really lean into like supporting and reaching that level 10 leadership, that next level leadership. I'm doing a lot of work right now, doing a master level of leadership course and really leaning into what does mastery leadership look like? One of our first lessons leans into no more lone wolfing. You want to be a master leader and really operate from a place of leadership. There's no more lone wolfing. It's about playing team. It's about supporting each other.
Yeah.
It's not every man for himself, right? That's again, we hear that every man for himself. No, it's about collaboration, connection, relationships. That's how you get to the next level. That's how you really show up in your leadership, how you can work together. And I think we could definitely talk about an episode on collaboration versus competition, right? When you're a master leader, you operate from collaboration. You see how you can support each other. And it's all about team working together. Just like Carol and I, we built this partnership. We saw how we could complement each other with our strengths, with productivity and wealth and our passion for neuroscience and our knowledge of the high achieving brain and how we could together really make this massive impact and difference to the lives of the men and women in the world that listen to the Unleash Unstoppable podcast and join Diamond Transformation. And that when we saw the power of that, that's powerful. I think that, the power and it becomes powerful, but it's operating from a different mindset. It's operating from a different belief system. Carol, I'd love for you to share for the listeners, what do you feel is the first thing or the actions that for you is on your heart for the listener to really support them in shifting from feeling like they have to operate from lone wolf, that leadership is lonely, that they're going to look weak, and the reputation could be damaged if they do seek for help, and helping them really embrace this thought and this perspective shift of really forming a wolf pack versus the lone wolfing, right? Like we've mentioned this before, right? About the quote around, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend most of your time with, right? And how you can really lift each other up and not need to go at this solo.
I absolutely love that you brought up that quote. It's a quote by Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was a motivational speaker and is not with us anymore, but we are the 5 people we hang out with the most. So that in and of itself right there speaks into our leadership. And I'm going to go really vulnerable with you here for just a moment. We don't have a lot of time. Many of you know that I'm widowed, and the love of my life, the man I was married to for over 30 years, was a fabulous leader, very intelligent man, entrepreneur from the age of probably 5 years old. His wiring was very unique and special. I lost him, and part of the reason is because of these things we're talking to you about. He did lone wolf it. He didn't ask for help until it was too late, and he couldn't cope and began using substances that were not helping him to cope, and it led to death. That's how serious this is, leader. You're needed in this world now more than ever. We can just look around us and see what's going on in the world. But when you stand in who you are in your leadership and knowing that you can have an impact, that you can make a difference in transforming this world in a beautiful and powerful way in your own uniqueness, it's through getting help. It is through those people that you are surrounded by. And when you get into an isolation mode, a lone wolfing mode, I can do it all myself, this is where burnout and breakdown happen. This is on the path to burnout that we speak about so often. And so we really want to lean in here to the importance of this. This is ultimately very serious, and it's serious anyway. None of us know what our next breath is in terms of going from day to day. We get to live now. We get to live in the present, and a part of that powerful leadership that you are meant to have, that impact in the world that you are meant to play a part in, is being able to trust yourself enough to connect, to get the help you need to go for it. And Alex, Lianne, and I both have mentors, because coaches and guides and mentors need mentors. None of us are without blind spots in this world. And it does take vulnerability, and it starts with that powerful trust in yourself that you've got this. You're confident. You walk in the fact that getting that help is going to help you go faster. You're going to have amazing collaborations and connections. You're going to be off the path of burnout because you're going to be just uplifted, and you're going to be able to have joy. And we spoke about this in our last podcast. You're going to be able to have the space you need to be playful, to enjoy life, to enjoy these moments when you're connecting and when you're getting the help that you need. And we really want that for you, leader. That's what we're here for, to help you with and to help you to see.
So our action step today is to think about what is something that you could reach out and seek help for.
Yeah.
Some guidance, some assistance, maybe just another perspective. I was in a room several months ago, and there was hundreds of us in the room, and we were all asked to do a different dance move. And I'll never forget that experience, because what I took away from that experience was the fact that hundreds of us had different dance moves. Now, I'm sure if you were asked to come up with a dance move, you probably have one that comes to mind. And then when you see the creativity of those in the room, of all these different creative ways of, being high, being low, doing balances, all sorts of creative ways. And that's the power when you're lone wolfing it, so to speak. We're not questioning that you can't do it. We know you can do it. Yeah. But we're leaning into that there's an easier way to do it that's not going to have you burnt out, that'll propel you forward, that you get to enjoy the process, and that you get to, by working with mentors and coaches, see a different perspective, see a different way, see a way that might be easier, simpler. We know that your high achiever brain likes to overcomplicate things, which has you working harder, which has you feeling like you need to hustle and grind, right? With all the beliefs and everything going on. being able to work with somebody and having those 5 people around you support you and seeing different perspectives, making it easier, making it more joyful and fun, like Carol was saying, and just overall a more enjoyable experience. And just those relationships that you do develop. We just see it time and time again. How many leaders are going at it alone? And we really want to end that. We are stand for really creating the community and bringing leaders together, because I know that I felt alone. I know, Carol, you have shared that you have felt alone too. Yeah. And it was by being part of a community and seeing that there are so many other high achievers out there just like me that I wasn't alone. But it did take for someone to actually say to me and almost give me permission, because this is a big thing on high achievers, right? You don't give yourself permission. So Carol and I want to be the ones to give you permission. Yeah. We want to give you permission to seek some guidance and some help on something that you're working on right now, so that you can propel forward and you can create those connections, those collaborations. So you don't have to go at it alone. And
I love that. I want to just mention, we actually have 3 things here. 3 things are, just to recap, what does this mean about me? Out, like Alex Lianne said, and look at an area that you can today ask for help in. And the third thing is, we want you to listen to last week's episode on choosing joy. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 action steps we have for you today.
Yeah. And then what I was going to say is break that belief around leadership has to be lonely, because it doesn't. It actually gets to be a wonderful journey together in community and collaboration. And, the world really, I always had a motto of like, the world is your oyster, go out and explore it. And that's the invitation here today, is really go and explore the possibilities, so that you get to end the lone wolf cycle, get out of the traps, and really become that next level, that next best version of yourself in your leadership.
We'll see you guys next week. Be sure and grab the gifts we have for you in the show notes. We're super glad to bring these episodes to you each week. We can't wait to talk to you next week. And we look forward to your review. We want you to subscribe, give us a review. It really helps us in the ratings. And we want to be bringing more and better content to you each and every week to benefit you in your life. So we'll see you next week. Bye.
If you have any topics or any ideas of things you'd like us to speak into, send us a message, connect with us on socials, and we'll see you guys all next week. Bye, everybody.